You better play fair in the Play Store or Google might be coming for you. The AI industry is scrambling for data in a new data arms race. The Canadian government announces an upcoming AI strategy. And if you didn't buy those glasses for the eclipse, you can still have a meaningful participation in a worldwide event. All this and more on the You're So Vain edition of Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. For many across Canada and the U.S., this is the day we see a total eclipse of the sun. Well, if you don't have a proper eye protection, it means proper glasses. Sunglasses will not protect you, nor will film negatives if you still have some. But eclipse hysteria is with us, and there are reports that 1 million people will be in Niagara Falls for that 4 minutes of history. I'll be watching on YouTube. But the eclipse will not just be a thing to watch. A lot of scientific experiments will be conducted. With the shadow covering the sun, scientists will be looking for evidence of solar flares in the corona of the sun. Radio operators around the world will be broadcasting looking for impact, if any. NASA will be sending an aircraft to follow the path of the eclipse, and at 50,000 feet, they will not be affected by cloud cover. And there's one experiment that all of us can participate in. If you go to scistarter.org, that's scistarter.org, there's an experiment gathering data on the effect of the eclipse on our pets. So if you have a pet, you can spare a couple of hours today to go to scistarter.org, that's scistarter.org. You can join this cool organization that asks you to be part of 1 million acts of science. Write it down, send yourself an email, scistarter.org. Just type Solar Eclipse Safari into the search. Way better than burning your retinas, and you can still be part of this historic event. In an unprecedented move, Google has launched a federal lawsuit against 2 app developers it alleges operated a long-running cryptocurrency investment scam through the company's Play Store. The tech giant claims that Yunfeng Sun and Hongnam Cheng from China developed at least 87 fraudulent crypto apps between 2014 and 2019 that caused financial harm to more than 100,000 victims worldwide, including 8,700 in the U.S. alone. Google's civil complaint filed in New York alleges the apps defrauded users by portraying themselves as legitimate cryptocurrency trading platforms or crypto wallet services promising high investment returns. While allowing a small initial withdrawal to build trust, the apps would ultimately prohibit users from withdrawing their money, having siphoned the funds shortly after deposit. The scammers then allegedly attempted to extort more money from victims through bogus claims like tax obligations to regain access to their falsely inflated account balances. Through sophisticated social engineering and online marketing campaigns, Sun and Chung recruited victims to download malicious apps, even portraying paid actors as company leadership in promotional videos. Google believes this is the first time a major technology platform has taken legal action against crypto scammers operating through its services. The company claims the pair's years of alleged criminal activity abused multiple Google platforms beyond just the Play Store, including services like Google Voice, Gmail, and YouTube. And while not specifying the total losses, Google says individual victims suffered damages ranging from thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. Cryptocurrency-based fraud is now the costliest form of cybercrime, according to the FBI. Google is seeking financial damages and a court injunction permanently banning Sun and Chung from accessing any of its platforms and services going forward. Major technology companies are engaged in controversial underground races to acquire the massive troves of data they need to power the latest advances in generative artificial intelligence. With the supply of high-quality internet text and images dwindling rapidly, firms like Meta, Google, and OpenAI are pursuing legally, perhaps even questionable methods to feed their data-hungry AI models, according to reports from the New York Times and Reuters. These include allegedly scraping copyrighted content without permission, like OpenAI perhaps transcribing over 1 million hours of YouTube data using its Whisper tool to gather training data for GPT-4, or sources have told Reuters that Google tweaked its privacy policies last July to potentially access consumer data from products like Gmail for AI training purposes. Meta reportedly discussed buying out entire book publishers after exhausting open internet sources. With current proven training data supplies potentially used up as soon as 2028, companies are now striking deals to license proprietary data sets. Reuters uncovered trade emerging around everything from podcast transcripts to personal photos, from old social media sites like PhotoBucket, whose CEO is purportedly negotiating to sell 13 billion images and videos. However, there are growing concerns about user privacy violations and consent issues around repurposing such data to train large language models. Unable to sustain their needs through scraping and licensing, tech giants are also reportedly looking at synthetic data, having AI models generate their own training data internally through complex feedback processes. In the face of copyright and other challenges, the synthetic approach could reduce dependence on real-world sources. However, flaws and biases could also become amplified if AI trains AI unchecked. The legal gray areas highlight how the race for generative AI supremacy is clashing with data rights in unprecedented territory for this digital age. A new global survey shows 41% of business leaders expect to have smaller workforces within 5 years due to the implementation of artificial intelligence technologies. The study by staffing firm Adecco Group reveals an appetite for job cuts as companies look to AI investment to reduce headcounts and boost productivity. These findings come as the Canadian government announced a $2.4 billion package aimed at securing the country's global AI advantage while addressing workforce disruption concerns. In unveiling the measures which are expected to be included in the 2024 federal budget, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the funding will help harness the full potential of AI to create good-paying jobs, raise productivity, and grow the economy. The centerpiece is a $2 billion fund to develop AI computing capabilities and infrastructure to attract global investment and talent to Canada's world-leading artificial intelligence research hubs. It also includes $200 million to boost AI startups and accelerate adoption across key sectors like healthcare and manufacturing. The budget allocates $50 million for training workers in potentially disrupted industries like creative fields, signaling the government's awareness of AI's potential employment impacts. Other funds go towards helping small businesses incorporate AI, bolstering regulatory oversight, and creating a new Canadian AI Safety Institute to address emerging risks. While betting big on AI as an economic driver, the Trudeau government acknowledged the need to provide reskilling opportunities as the technology displaces certain jobs across the economy. But whether these efforts can truly blunt AI's workforce impacts remains an open question. Ottawa talks about keeping Canada at the vanguard of fundamental AI research and commercialization while attempting to mitigate negative impacts on workers during the coming transformation. But the reality is, if you talk to almost anybody who's seriously playing in this field, Canada may have had some pioneering work in AI, and yes, we had an early strategy in AI, and the governments are proposing research hubs, but we spent a fortune on AI in universities and their research. And how much of that have we commercialized in Canada? The reality is probably that nobody on the global stage would take us seriously as a leader in this area anymore. As one leading business person said to me, how many patents that we as taxpayers funded in our universities are in place and earning money for Canada or Canadian businesses? That's just one question we should be asking. The actions that the government is taking in disruption, $50 million for retraining. If you've been around for more than 20 or 30 years, you've seen a couple of disruptions. Has that training money ever really worked in any big disruption? And this is not a criticism of the Trudeau government. The NDP and the Conservatives are equally big on talk, but fundamentally, they don't seem to get how devastating this can be for the Canadian economy. We're going to spend $2.4 billion. It sounds like a lot, but it's 1/5 of what Microsoft invested in OpenAI originally. It's a drop in the bucket, unfortunately. So if you have that little to spend, you better know how to spend it well. There are smart people thinking about this. The problem is that we aren't acting fast enough, and that could have disastrous consequences. The ones who will win at AI, they'll be the ones who are taking concrete actions now, not the ones who are studying what will happen in 2 to 3 years. Anyway, that's our show for this Monday morning. Again, I have great trepidation about making editorial comments, But I'm hearing so much from those in industry and leadership that make me feel that Canada might be left behind. And as someone with 2 kids who will already inherit a climate crisis, it makes me fearful. I'd love to hear from all of you, and I would love to be proven wrong. As I mentioned on Friday, from now on you can reach me at therealjimlove@gmail.com. Not that fake Jim Love, but the real Jim Love. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a marvelous Monday.